Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Chapter 36. Because, Yi Langtian will leave the Daong dynasty after a while. Before that, we must prepare enough Nirvana Dan for the Yi clan. You know, if a good fortune realm peak powerhouse wants to advance to Nirvana realm, in addition to his own talent and chance, many reasons have to do with Nirvana Dan. When Yi Langtian went to Dayan County for training, Yi Zhaokong gave him 2,000 Nirvana Dan. What is the concept of 2,000 Nirvana Dan? The cultivation of ordinary Nirvana realm strong people must spend hundreds of thousands of coins every day. If Yi Langtian cultivated, maybe it would be exhausted in less than an hour. But Yi Zhaokong decided to give Yi Langtian these 2,000 Nirvana pills after careful consideration. Among the Yi clan, the stock of Nirvana realm is estimated to be less than 4,000. Such a rare number of Nirvana pills also led to the fact that the clan could only barely cultivate a Nirvana realm. Anymore, I can't afford it at all. Therefore, in Yi Langtian's view, what the Yi clan lacks most now is not martial arts or spiritual treasures. It's Nirvana Dan. As long as the Nirvana Dan is enough, there will be a steady stream of Nirvana powerhouses born in the clan. Only then can Yi Zhaokong survive the Nirvana calamity. Now with the devouring rune, I have condensed 50,000 Nirvana pills in half a day. At this rate, after 10 months, I am afraid that there will be millions of Nirvana pills in the clan. It's just that a million Nirvana Dan is not enough. At least tens of millions of Nirvana Dan can make the clan truly develop. While practicing, Yi Langtian looked at the mountains of Nirvana pills around him and thought. At the moment, his mind moved, and he tried his best to urge the devouring rune. After a while, all over the body, black holes in all directions suddenly appeared. Each black hole is as big as a door, and it looks dark and dark, like an abyss. With Yi Langtian's Yuan force surging, the black holes in all directions are also devouring the four universes Yuan force. Under the harmony of Nirvana's atmosphere, Nirvana pills were spit out from the black hole. In almost a breath, thousands of Nirvana realms were condensed out. At such a speed, if Yi Zhaokong saw it, he would definitely be dumbfounded. Rao is that he has been promoted to the Nirvana realm for several years. Where is it like Yi Langtian, who doesn't want money? In fact, with Yi Langtian's cultivation base and the devouring rune, Xuanyuan Dan can be condensed. However, Zanyuan Dan is only suitable for those who are strong in life and death. It is not suitable for most people in the clan who are in the three realms of good fortune. Unlike Yi Langtian, who is madly condensing Nirvana pills, Yi Zhaokong and Yi Nanyuan, the senior members of the Yi clan, have been busy these days. First of all, at present, the major top forces have gathered in the Yi clan one after another. In addition to showing goodwill and surrender, they are choosing marriage. After all, marriage is the safest. Once and for all, it's all family members. Secondly, it is necessary to send someone to take over the Lu clan industry. But on this afternoon, the Yi clan patriarch rarely showed up. There is no other reason, only because the Nangong clan handed a letter of worship. I originally thought that the people from Taiching Sacred Land, who came to the Nangong clan this time, were at most ordinary children. I didn't expect it to be Taiching Sacred Land Holy Maiden in person. The Nangong clan is very lucky. However, looking at this letter of worship, the Taiching Sacred Land Holy Maiden wants to see Langtian, and I don't know what it means. In the room, Yi Zhaokong was pacing back and forth after reading the letter of worship. To be honest, with Yi Langtian's current cultivation base, Yi Zhaokong is confident that even among the super powerful younger generation in Dongshuan Yu, he is one of the best. As for Taiching Sacred Land Holy Maiden's intention to meet Yi Langtian, he has not yet guessed. Is it because of the latter's extraordinary talent, or because of the destruction of Lu Cheng? He couldn't figure it out, so he could only take the liberty to disturb Yi Langtian. Knowing this, Yi Langtian immediately ended his Nirvana training. After throwing a storage ring to Yi Langtian, he brought the letter of worship. When Yi Zhaokong noticed the massive amount of Nirvana in the storage ring, he almost fainted. With so many Nirvana pills, he can guarantee that the Yi clan will have several more Nirvana realm powerhouses at once. Gong Susan. Is this what my brother Yi Chen will look like in the future in the established plot? Right now, since I met him first, since I can't make him cheap. Furthermore, with the cultivation base I am now, even if Gong Suzan's heart is higher than the sky, he has to restrain himself. Seeing the content of the post, Yi Langtian's mouth twitched. In the first simulation, Yi Langtian had an intersection with Gong Suzan. However, after all, it was a simulation, not the real thing. Therefore, speaking of this aspect, this is the first time. In the original work, this Taiching sacred land Gong Suzan is so cold and boundless. Even the protagonist Yi Chen won the battle of the various dynasties in the future, he did not take it seriously. For such a cold and powerful woman, the only way is to crush her from all aspects, so that you can let her take a high look. But right now, Yi Langtian is confident that with his half-step cultivation base, he can definitely overpower Gong Suzan. Consider this. Yi Langtian then told Yi Zhaokong to send someone to send a letter to the Nangong clan, saying that we can see you tomorrow. Chapter 37. The next morning, Gong Suzan set off for Yecheng. Along with her, in addition to the two maids, there are Nangong Chengkong of the Nangong clan and the elder Nangong Junye. As for Yecheng, Yi Zhaokong had long been ready to welcome the holy maiden of Taiching sacred land. As for the other top forces of the Daong dynasty, they also learned that the Taiching sacred land holy maiden was here. In addition to being very surprised, they also gathered in the Yi clan to meet this person. At the same time, these people also know that the Nangong clan has discovered a tomb that was left behind by a powerful Nirvana realm. However, there is no scramble at all. What are you kidding? The Nangong clan has moved the Taiching sacred land and holy maiden, so how can we fight? Moreover, the Nangong clan also said that those who dare to go to the tomb are undoubtedly against the Taiching sacred land. Therefore, under such circumstances, it is even more impossible for everyone to go. I can only be very unwilling to let the tomb house be inherited and won by the Nangong clan. Now, today's Yecheng has a new look. In particular, the Yi clan is full of lanterns, fire trees and silver flowers. Yi Zhaokong, the patriarch of the Yi clan, Yi Nanyuan, the elder, and others came to welcome Taiching's sacred land holy maiden in person. However, when Gong Su really showed up, even if the people present were prepared, they were still stunned by his appearance. I saw that she was wearing a light blue pigmented dress, her skin was as thick as fat, and her waist was like a willow. Especially the pair of beautiful eyes like jade, the cold temperament revealed unintentionally, makes people daunting. However, what was even more irritating was that Gong Suzan covered her face with a veil. Only the exposed corner is already shocking diva. Therefore, everyone is extremely curious about the appearance under the veil. I don't know what kind of celestial beauty that is. Yi Zhaokong, the patriarch of the Shai clan, met the Taiching sacred land holy maiden. I have seen Taiching sacred land holy maiden. Seeing Gong Suzan coming here, Yi Zhaokong led the people to salute. Everyone, stand up, don't be too polite. Gong Suzan glanced at everyone and said calmly. She came to the Yi clan and was really only interested in that Yi Langtian. As for the others, she wouldn't be moved at all. Fairy Gong, please come in. Yi Zhaokong made a, please, gesture and said. It's work. Gong Suzan frowned. Afterwards, he walked through the door. Patriarch Yi, dare to ask where Yi Langtian is. Coming to the hall, Gong Suzan glanced around, and then asked. Fairy Gong, please wait a moment, Lang Heavenly Horse will be here. Yi Zhaokong apologized. Although Taiching's sacred land holy maiden came to the door today and came to the Yi clan. But Yi Langtian didn't care much. Still in his own courtyard, he came over after condensing hundreds of thousands of nirvana pills. As soon as he appeared, everyone present looked at him. After all, since the last time the Lu clan was compared, the powerhouses of the top forces have never seen him again. Even in the past few days, everyone has been in the Yi clan and has never seen it. I saw that Yi Langtian was strong, tall and straight like a gun, handsome. His hair was flying, and when he raised his hands, there was an indescribable coercion that lingered in the hearts of everyone. After seeing Yi Langtian, even if Gong Suzan had seen many geniuses in Dongshuanyu, he had to admit that Yi Langtian in front of him was indeed a genius. And its cultivation base is indeed on the same level as itself. Half-step Shengxuanjing. And the breath is calm, without a trace of floating. It is definitely a steady way to cultivate cultivation. Perhaps because of the devouring rune, when Gong Susan stared at Yi Langtian, there was definitely something wrong with Yi Langtian. When facing him, it seems to be confronting a bottomless abyss. Involuntarily, Gong Susan became more curious about Yi Langtian. What secrets does he have? Miss Gong, are you looking for me? After Yi Langtian walked in, he sat down by himself. Pour a cup of tea and drink it. Nothing else. Just curious, like Yi Tianzhao, who was born in the Daong dynasty, how could he have such strength? Gong Susan smiled casually and asked Yi Langtian directly. I can only say that, compared to the fact that Miss Gong was born in Taiching sacred land to practice cultivation, she has resources that ordinary people would envy, and people from remote areas like me naturally have fate. Yi Langtian said, neither humble nor arrogant. Hearing this, Gong Susan's pretty face was startled, but she didn't expect to get such an answer. It seems that it will be difficult to ask him the secret. Gong Susan's thoughts turned, and he said intentionally or unintentionally. This war of the various dynasties is about to start. I wonder if young Master Yi is interested. Do you want to participate? I'm not interested, so naturally I won't participate. Yi Langtian said. Young Master Yi knows that once he stands out in the wars of the various dynasties, he will be favored by the great sects of the eastern profound region, sacred land. Gong Susan asked questions. She didn't believe that the person in front of her really had no desires. Then what kind of cultivation will he use in the future? No resources. Miss Gong, I still say that, everyone has their own destiny. Yi Langtian laughed. He has a script simulator, and what kind of great teaching sacred land is he joining? Chapter 38. Since that's the case, then I won't ask any more questions, it's me who is abrupt. Hearing this, Gong Su was startled. She didn't understand. Where did Yi Langtian come from? Is there really someone else behind the scenes? But the more mysterious Yi Langtian is, the more Gong Susan wants to know. This Yi Langtian, a guy from a low-level dynasty, how could cultivation base reach the half-step profound realm before he was a weak crown? But if young Master Yi comes to Dongshuan in the future, he can be a guest at my Taiching sacred land. The two chatted a few more words, and Gong Susan took the opportunity to say, it's okay, I'll definitely go when I get a chance. Yi Langtian nodded. Afterwards, thinking of the tomb house, he casually asked. It is said that the Nangong clan discovered a tomb house left by Nirvana in my Daong dynasty. I don't know about the trip to the tomb house. Will the palace girl go? We'll go. Gong Susan replied. Just the Nangong clan? Yi Langtian asked again. Yes, it will only be the Nangong clan. Gong Su was really surprised. She didn't know why Yi Langtian was interested in the tombs left by Nirvana Jing Zhanghua. If that's the case, then my Yi clan will not interfere. After Yi Langtian had the result in his heart, he said brightly. It seems that this Gong Su really will not meet his brother Yi Chen. The two would not have any interaction. At the same time, Nangong Chengkong on the side heard the words and directly expressed his gratitude to Yi Langtian. Without the intervention of the Yi clan, the biggest beneficiary of this trip to the tomb will definitely be the Nangong clan. Young Master Yi, this is the token of my Taiching sacred land. With this item, there are no restrictions on entering or leaving my Taiching sacred land. Here, Gong Susan was reserved for one or two, but still took out an item from his sleeve and handed it to Yi Langtian. When Luluo and Luluo behind Gong Susan saw this, they couldn't help being shocked. The two of them followed Gong Susan for a long time. But I know that this Taiching sacred land holy maiden has always been indifferent. Never deal with strangers. Even if it is Yuantian Sanji who has a good impression on Gong Susan, the latter will not care. Unexpectedly, in the Daong dynasty today, Holy Maiden would gift this thing to Yi Langtian. Could it be that Holy Maiden has a crush on him? Actually, Gong Susan gave this thing to Yi Langtian, it was more of an investment. The more in the future, Yi Langtian will really step into the ranks of the top powerhouses in the profound sky continent, maybe he will remember his feelings today, and not have a bad relationship with Taiching sacred land. If that's the case, then I'll accept it. Yi Langtian was not hypocritical and took it directly. Anyway, this is too clear sacred land, sooner or later he is going. Because there is a supreme technique in this Taiching sacred land. As long as you learn this method, you will be able to control the number one divine object in the world and ascend to the highest position. Next, the two chatted for a while. or talk about some cultivation things, or talk about the current situation of Dongshuanyu. On the other side, Yi Jiaokong, Nangong Chengkong and the others saw that they were having a good time talking, and they didn't bother. Simply backed out. Give these two some space. I have to say that Yi Langtian, as a character who traveled from Blue Star to Tianchuan, has many different views from these people. When Gong Suzhen asked Yi Langtian why he was too high, Yi Langtian directly said a few words about the essence of Taoism in his previous life. For example, the most important thing, the most forgetful, the most untimely, the one who loves is my generation. And the highest good is like water, inaction is better than action. These new ideas made Gong Suzhen's eyes bright, as if he had caught something. In a trance, she felt that this trip to Yi Langtian was her biggest gain. Before I knew it, half a day had passed. It was night. Gong Suzhen and the Nangong clan had dinner in the Yi clan. After eating, Gong Suzhen said goodbye to Yi Langtian and others. Before leaving, Yi Langtian told her that he would leave the Daong dynasty in a few days. In this regard, Gong Suzhen is quite enlightened. I hope to meet Yi Gongzi again in Dongshuanyu in the future. After leaving the Yi clan, Gong Suzhen remembered what Yi Langtian said about being too forgetful. After thinking about it for a while, I suddenly realized that my Xinxing has improved a lot without knowing it. Even that immortal method is even better. After Gong Suzhen returned for the second day, he gave up this trip to the tomb, and decided to take this opportunity to live a good life with Mrs. Insight. Let Luluo and Hongying go directly. Although these two women are her maids, cultivation base has reached the quaternary nirvana realm. Enough to handle it. The next day, Luluo and Hongying, together with some young children of the Nangong clan and the old man, set off for the tomb. Here, Yi Langtian has been condensing Nirvana Dan for several days. In just a few days, millions have been created. In addition, his use of devouring runes is also more handy. Half a month later, Yi Langtian finally condensed more than 70 million Nirvana Dan Queen for the Yi clan, and he also decided to leave the Daong dynasty. When he told Yi Jiaokong about this, the latter went numb. More than 70 million Nirvana Dan, enough for him to practice life and death. It is no exaggeration to say that it is more than enough to create 10 Nirvana realm powerhouses for the Yi clan. This is much better than the painstaking effort of the Nangong clan to explore that tomb. Chapter 39. Yi Langtian left the Daong dynasty. When he left, no one was disturbed. Even Yi Jiaokong and others don't know. I only know that on a certain day, the latter courtyard was empty. The Daong dynasty was located in the Dongshuan region. But it's just an unremarkable low-level dynasty in Dongshuanyu. Looking at the entire Dongshuan domain, and so on, I don't know how many. After Yi Langtian walked out of the Daong dynasty, he went all the way to the south. The cultivation base, which was born in the profound realm with his half-step, can travel thousands of miles in a day or two. In the blink of an eye, 10 months passed. During this period, he met many people from other dynasties, and even super dynasties. It's just that Yi Langtian never interacted with them. On this day, Yi Langtian came to a land of crimson. Looking around, this piece of land is vast and barren. In the air, there is still some bloody aura from time to time. From this point of view, this is a place of killing. It took another half a day for Yi Langtian to find a place with fireworks. This is a town where restaurants and tea houses are arranged in a chaotic manner, and the planning seems to be very poor. Qian Town. Don't know where this place is. Yi Langtian looked up at the plaque on the city, and whispered. Then, in his perception, most of the practitioners here are cultivation bases above the 5-element nirvana realm. In addition, the people in the past are not dissatisfied with the viciousness that makes people afraid to approach. There is no doubt that this place should be a sinful place like Dayan County of the Daong dynasty. Most of these people are outlaws. Yi Langtian found a restaurant and planned to rest here for a day, and then leave tomorrow to look elsewhere. After casually ordering some meals with the shop assistant, Yi Langtian sat down by the window by himself. Damn it. This one sacred land is too overbearing. The Nirvana stone vein was actually blocked, so how can everyone live? That's it. It's not like the other sacred land sects. Did you find some heavenly and mortal treasures in that Nirvana stone vein? Even if there is, it's not something we should inquire about, but Daoyi Sacred Land's move will definitely arouse the dissatisfaction of those ruthless people who teach the murder list. Don't look at it. What is this vein of Qian earth? Quote. Not long after Yi Langtian sat down, he heard a few big men with a vicious temperament at a table not far away, discussing something there. Great teaching murder list. Hearing this, Yi Langtian was startled. In the Yi clan before, Yi Langtian occasionally heard Gong Suzin about this in advance. This great sect's murder list is a list jointly released by several sacred lands in Dongshuan region and great sects. The people who can be on this list are undoubtedly not some ruthless people who are guilty of monstrous crimes and have blood debts. From this point of view, this piece of red rock land is the gathering place of this group of desperados. And many more. Nirvana Stone Vein. Daoyi Sacred Land. Is there a divine essence nest tree here? It is said that the fruit from the divine essence nest tree can improve cultivation base after taking it. It is best for Nirvana realm powerhouses. If you take a few more pills, there is a high probability that you will be promoted to life and death realm. After thinking about it, Yi Langtian couldn't help but be shocked after combining the plot in the original script. His eyes suddenly brightened. In the original script, Daoyi Sacred Land did find the Shenyuan nest tree in the land of Qian. And his chief clan brother is also here to have a further relationship with Daoyi Sacred Land Little Princess. There was no way his brother Yi Chen took his life to save the Sacred Land Little Princess. How could he make the latter not feel good about him? What Yi Langtian didn't expect was that when he first came to Dongshuanyu to experience, he met a person from Daoyi Sacred Land. Not surprisingly, I will also meet the Daoyi Sacred Land Little Princess. This Daoyi Sacred Land Little Princess has a great background. She is the future Ice Master, a Samsara sealer. And he has the magic rune of ice. In the future, he will almost be one of the top powerhouses in the profound sky continent. He knew that this divine essence nest tree was not discovered by Daoyi Sacred Land first. But it was already noticed by the ruthless people on the life and death list of the great teacher. The reason for not leaving is that the Nirvana Stone Vein is indeed within the Sacred Land area. The second is next to the Nirvana Stone Vein, and a group of demonic beasts are guarding. But the main reason is that the ruthless people on the Great Sect's murder list are still unsure if there are seeds among the ripe fruits in the Divine Essence Nest Tree. If there are seeds, then this Divine Essence Nest Tree will probably be worth innumerable. If the major sacred lands learn about this, no one will sit still. Because the Divine Essence Nest Tree is too precious. Planting it in the sacred land will not only gather the power of heaven and earth, but also the fruits it bears will be of great benefit to the disciples of the Nirvana realm. If you take a few more pills, you can greatly increase the probability of being promoted to life and death. You must know that the powerhouses of life and death are definitely the mainstay among the great sect or sacred land. Therefore, Daoyi Sacred Land's group of people are afraid to attach great importance to this thing. On the contrary, if not, it would not be worthwhile to offend Daoyi Sacred Land for no reason. I don't know what's going on right now. Let's go over there tomorrow and have a look. If you can save Daoyi Sacred Land's little princess, I won't say if you get his favor, maybe you can take this opportunity to comprehend that class of martial arts in Dayan Sacred Land. Yi Langtian pondered in his heart, and soon made a decision. Chapter 40. Nirvana Stone Veins. Daoyi Sacred Land's Camp. Mu Shui, I didn't expect you to come to the mines this time to cause such a big trouble. At this moment in the camp, a woman in a strong suit looked at the girl not far away and said apologetically. The girl's name is Su Mushui, the little princess of Daoyi Sacred Land. Her father was the head of Daoyi Sacred Land, Su Xuanzi. She also has an older sister, Su Muyu, the elder sister of Daoyi Sacred Land. Senior sister Qin, what are you talking about? It's a good thing to discover the Shenyuan nest tree. What's more, you've had people relay the news back to Sacred Land. It probably won't take a few days before the elders in the Sacred Land come over. Hearing this, Su Mushui waved her hand and smiled. The girl in front of her has a beautiful face, a fair face, and a small nose. With a slender figure, black hair, and a ponytail, he looks very lively. At the beginning, Daoyi's Sacred Land disciples stationed in Qian Earth found that they found demonic beasts such as fire-scale birds in the area under their jurisdiction. As a last resort, Qin Lu sent the matter to Sacred Land. Soon, several disciples led by Su Mushui were dispatched from sacred land to help drive away the fire scale birds. Be aware that fire scales are generally gregarious demonic beasts. It is difficult to drive them away with a small force alone. But just yesterday, when Su Mushui was driving these fire scale birds, he suddenly found treasures such as the Divine Essence Nest Tree in the Nirvana Stone Vein where Daoyi Sacred Land was located. Although it is only a small section, this Divine Essence Nest Tree has borne fruit. And it's about to mature. As we all know, shortly after the Shenyuan Nest Tree bears fruit, there is a high probability that the Shenyuan Nest species will be born in the rhizomes. If the Divine Essence Nest Tree in the Nirvana Stone Vessel will spit out a Divine Essence Nest seed after the fruit is ripe, for Daoyi Sacred Land, that would be a great event. Add luck to Sacred Land. In addition, it is of great benefit for disciples to practice. At that time, with the means of Daoyi Sacred Land Masters, it is completely possible for this Divine Essence Nest Tree to bear hundreds or thousands of fruits at one time. By that time, the overall strength of the younger generation of Daoyi Sacred Land will rise to the next level. Over time, the comprehensive strength of Daoyi Sacred Land will also rise. You know, looking at the entire Dongshuan region now, the only sect that can have treasures such as the Shenyuan Nest Tree is the Yuantian Great Cult family. Therefore, Su Mushui and the others now very much hope that after the fruit of the Divine Essence Nest Tree matures, the Divine Essence Nest seeds will be spit out. But in the camp at the moment, it is more heavy and depressing. Because everyone knows, where is this Red Rock land? This is the paradise of those desperados in Dongshuan Yu. It is a place under the jurisdiction of the 8 superpowers of the Dongshuan region. Therefore, any disturbance here cannot escape the eyes of some people. Su Mushui and Qin Lu had already suspected that the secret of the Shenyuan Nest Tree had been discovered by others. And these people are now dormant in the dark, waiting for the last moment. Everyone, this time, if there is a Divine Essence Nest, we must bring it back to Sacred Land. You can't cheapen other people in vain. Seeing the dull atmosphere, Su Mushui immediately took the lead in breaking the calm and said firmly, "Junior sister Su is right. This Divine Essence Nest Tree appeared in the jurisdiction of my Daoyi Sacred Land, and it should be the thing of my Daoyi Sacred Land. How could it be possible for others to take advantage of it? Everyone, be sure to cheer up these few days." Quote. Hearing this, Qin Lu smiled and said sincerely. After saying that, all the Sacred Land disciples who were present nodded in agreement. Even Daoyi Sacred Land little princess is so proud, how could they be left behind? The other side. In the land of Qian, there are several stone houses stacked with rubble. The head of the family has been found out. It was a group of people who came from the Daoyi Sacred Land and drove away the fire scale birds. It seems that the news of the Shenyuan Nest Tree has also been known to those people. Do you want to start early? That night, inside the stone house, a man with a gloomy aura was reporting to a gray-robed figure. No need. It's better to wait for the fruit of the Divine Essence Nest Tree to mature. If there are no seeds in it, it would be unwise to expose our traces early. The gray-robed figure shook his head and said, "By the way, the subordinate also found something." The cold-breathed man said again, "What's up?" The gray-robed figure asked. This time, the little princess from Daoyi Sacred Land seems to be here too. The man with a gloomy breath said, "Oh, Su Mushui, she's actually here. It's true that there is a way to heaven and you don't go. The underworld has no way to go. You give in. I ordered to go on, and when the Shenyuan Nest Tree matures, I will go to watch Su Mushui. As for the Shenyuan Nest, I will leave it to the second and third masters." The gray-robed figure was slightly surprised, and then Jia Ran sneered. There is no holy maiden in Daoyi Sacred Land, but no one in Dongshuanyu knows what status Su Mushui has in Daoyi Sacred Land. If you can capture her at that time, even if you can't get the Divine Essence Nest, you can make a deal with Daoyi Sacred Land. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.